So let's talk about safety real quick. I am currently reading CIA archives, particularly Operation Condor, and I've also learned about Operation Gladio, which I don't think any documents have yet been declassified. I read about them elsewhere when I was researching Operation Condor for other materials apart from the CIA declassified docs. There is a lot of information you can gain from CIA archives. They, of course, are very particular about their style, and the website is a little bit harder to navigate. It's not very comfortable, but you can still find information if you know what you're looking for. So yeah, as I'm reading about Operation Condor, I am becoming very acutely aware of the fact that CIA probably still uses the same techniques, the same approaches, even though Operation Condor was not directly affiliated with CIA. It was the intelligence services of various countries like Argentina, Uruguay, Panama, Brazil, and a couple more others. I will include a couple of articles that talk about this operation generally. These are Western articles, so they're definitely going to be biased. They're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, the CIA was aware. And most likely the CIA was providing aid. It was providing weapons and maybe possibly training, but we're not sure. And the CIA admitted, of course, that they were aware and that it was very useful for the United States, for those right-wing parties and dictatorships to be in power in those countries. Overall, Operation Condor is about fighting against all kinds of communist and socialist militant groups, even though some of the found archives that are going to be mentioned in some of the articles I'm going to link, they prove that those intelligence services were not only targeting the militant groups. They were targeting a lot of people who were engaged in pretty much any kinds of activism that was against the existing regime. And from the data that we know from other operations that CIA was involved in, we can pretty safely say that CIA was very much funding and training and very much interested in backing those right-wing dictatorships. We know that many of the coups in these parts of the world were backed up by the CIA. And of course, we also know the reasons behind it all. It is resource extraction. It is control over the population. It is just profit-based usually, so it's not some noble goal of protecting the population from terrorists, as they usually say. Learning all of this, of course, is kind of scary, but it reinforces that notion that we all have to be very, very, very careful. We've got to be mindful of who we associate with. We need to have protocols, safety protocols in place so that we can possibly weed out people who may be connected to those type of intelligence services. And it is going to be, unfortunately, very hard to do, but we've got to be careful, right? Just using common sense, not getting provoked, not saying something that we may later regret, not saying something that can be used against us. And let me share a little story from about 6 months ago. In Russia, there was this little Marxist group that were meeting and reading and discussing Marxist theory, and they got infiltrated by those type of intelligence services. And the person who infiltrated them, this person kept on insisting on participating in some kind of radical activity. This person kept suggesting violent things. And all the members of this Marxist group, they kept on denouncing that. They kept on saying no to that. They kept insisting that they were not planning on any kind of violent action. But this person kept on trying to provoke them. And this person was recording all of these interactions. And later, all of the members of this group were arrested on false allegations based on those recordings, even though it is clear in those recordings that they're always saying no to any kind of violent action. They are denouncing violence altogether, and they're just insisting that they're just learning. They want to help the world by, talking about the solutions, etc. So the trial is ongoing. Some of the people who were arrested, they didn't even participate in that conversation that was recorded, yet they still got entangled. This case is not yet resolved as far as I know, and unfortunately some of these people may face some jail time or fines, even though they were pushing against this person's suggestions of violence, and they were insisting that they're there to learn mostly and to read books and analyze and discuss books. This is just a reminder that we've got to be very, very careful. If you need a little bit more motivation, of course, you can read about Operation Mockingbird, another infamous CIA operation, and there are plenty more. It is very helpful, actually, to read the CIA archives and see to the things they admit to. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of precautions you take. Obviously, it may be kind of counterproductive sharing techniques, but, you know, most of these things are going to be uncovered and discovered anyhow. So we've got to just share what we can and try our best not to get on the lists, even though if we are interested in what we are all interested in, we are probably on the lists, even if we are just like talking to each other online. Anyway, I hope you stay safe and I hope you have a great day today, and I'll talk to you sometime later.